building is looking for state's help to renovate. And in sports, we'll continue the story of the record-breaking Spartans. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
2 more women have come forward with reports of sexual assault. I'm Alexander Moore. Thanks for joining us. A female visiting Athens says she was sexually assaulted over the weekend. Athens police say it happened in the Mill Street area between Sunday night and Monday early morning. According to police reports, the victim knew the alleged perpetrator, and police say this incident does not appear to be related to any previous reported sexual assaults around the area. Police are also looking into claims from a 51-year-old woman who says she was raped 26 years ago by someone she knew. Tune in to Newswatch on Friday, where we'll take a closer look at the recent string of sexual assaults reports in Athens. And a Washington County man is facing charges of rape and sexual battery. Detectives say Kyle Palmer sexually abused 3 juvenile victims for 3 years. Marietta Times reports Palmer allegedly confessed to the abuse over the weekend. His bond for 2 of the 3 charges adds up to $500,000. Palmer is scheduled for preliminary hearing tomorrow. In West Virginia, prosecutors say a teenager held a victim against her will and sexually assaulted her. The Huntington Herald-Dispatch reports Christopher Clark II was arrested on charges including sexual assault and abduction. A criminal complaint says he punched and kicked her, tore her clothes off, and bruised her. The victim wasn't allowed to leave Clark's home until the next afternoon. The age of the female victim and her connection to Clark is unclear.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. These past couple of days, it just seemed to be rain, and more rain. It was quite the gloomy day in Athens today. Overcast and pop-up showers for the majority of the day today. Right now it's 73 degrees and mostly cloudy. Also very humid, feels a little bit uncomfortable outside. Still have a chance for showers. That's just going to stick around for a while. But first, around the region, we're seeing lower and mid-70s. 73 in Athens, 73 in Jackson, 75 up in Columbus, and 71 over in Cambridge. But let's take a look at the hour by hour for the rest of tonight. 10 o'clock, 72 degrees, 55% chance of scattered storms, and those chances of storms are going to increase throughout the rest of the night. Tonight, 1 a.m., 70% chance, and 75% chance at 4 a.m. Now, we're not seeing much difference in the temperature here, just a few degrees, but we will see some thunderstorms into the rest of the night and into the early morning tomorrow, but we'll have your full forecast later on in the show when we can finally see when we'll get a break from this rain and finally get some sunshine.
Thanks, Taylor. Parts of Kentucky are still recovering from flooding over the weekend. Several businesses spent yesterday cleaning up. This pizza restaurant called in workers not to serve customers, but to help get rid of standing water. Plenty of mud was left to clean up, and the restaurant also had to get rid of any food that touched the water.
We're actually cleaning up the water and getting the water out of the floor and throwing all the food away that got in the mess. There was water standing in the coolers.
Flood water ruined most of the restaurant's pizza boxes and damaged some of its furniture. Last week, the Stuart McDonald Building received a historical designation from the Athens City Council. Now the company inside the building, StuMac, is applying for state tax credits and as it plans to renovate the property. Reporter Steven Hernandez has the story.
The planned renovation of the StuMac building is expected to cost the company around $4 million. To help pay for the 53,000 square feet of renovations, StuMac is applying for the Ohio Historic Preservation Tax Credit, which helps preserve historic buildings while also assisting small businesses. Sarah Mars Maxfield from the Athens County Economic Development Council says the historic designation was the first step in applying for the tax credit, which will help StuMac offset the heavy financial cost of the project.
Well, we have been working with the company for about a year now on their expansion and renovations plan, and the historic designation came about a couple of months ago. Was when we realized that this was the first step in what we needed to do in order for them to pursue those tax credits.
The renovation to the site is part of the company's plan to centralize more of its workforce in Athens. Jay Hostetler, StuMac's Vice President of Product Development, says the renovation will reshift the building's layout to accommodate more departments and office space.
Our manufacturing is actually outside of town, so it's going to move into the first floor along with our R&D shop. We're going to expand our warehouse space from 1 floor to 2 floors, add a photo studio for doing educational materials, and moving our offices to the top floor.
Now it's a matter of following through with the Ohio Development Agency's procedures to apply for the tax credit.
It's a very competitive program. For the last couple years, we've always had more people apply for tax credits than we have tax credits available.
The deadline for the tax break applications is October 1st, but in the meantime, STUMAC and the Development Council will continue to look for ways to help fund the renovation project.
The city is working with them on some creative solutions as well to help them reach their goals financially. And the company is working with Jobs Ohio and the Revitalization Fund, and they have offered them up to $400,000 in grant funding to assist them in the renovations of the building as well.
For WOUB, I'm Stephen Hernandez.
Jay Hostetler says he expects the entire renovation project will be finished in 9 months. The League of Women Voters is holding a town hall meeting tonight. Right now they are discussing the Athens City Schools tax levies. Representatives from the Athens City School District Administration and School Board are answering questions from the audience. The meeting ends at 8. Tune in tomorrow to see what Athens Superintendent says about the levies. And Kavanaugh is speaking out against sexual misconduct allegations. What he said in his first television interview since the accusations. Plus, Bill Cosby is heading to jail, but for how long? These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall, which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Bill Cosby is going to state prison. The judge in the comedian's sexual assault case sentenced him 3 to 10 years behind bars. The 81-year-old, known for decades as America's Dad, was convicted in April of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand in 2004. Before his sentencing, the judge labeled Cosby as a sexually violent predator. The classification means he will have to register with state police and attend sex offender counseling for the rest of his life. The defense attorney requested for house arrest. They had argued Cosby is blind and only a danger to himself. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh responds to allegations of sexual misconduct and pushed for a fair process in an interview with Fox News last night. Omar Jimenez has the latest.
The countdown is on for a Senate hearing that will likely decide the fate of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. And now, Republican leaders, even Kavanaugh, are strongly speaking out.
I am looking for a fair process.
The judge is facing accusations of sexual misconduct from multiple women during his time as a high school and college student, including a claim from Christine Blasey Ford, who says Kavanaugh pinned her down in a bed and attempted to remove her clothes at a party during the early 1980s. Ford is scheduled to testify on Thursday before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And in an unprecedented move, Kavanaugh gave a TV interview to Fox News Tuesday defending himself.
I've never sexually assaulted anyone, not in high school, not ever.
Kavanaugh has support from Republican leaders as well, including the president, who on Tuesday directly criticized the accusations from Ford and new allegations reported in the New Yorker this week.
He's never had any charges like this. I mean, charges come up from 36 years ago that are totally unsubstantiated. This is a con game being played by the Democrats.
But Kavanaugh's fate will ultimately come down to whether all Republican senators are on board.
Should there be a full FBI investigation into these allegations from Kavanaugh's past?
And at least one, Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, wants to know more.
It would sure clear up all the questions, wouldn't it?
McConnell has promised to hold a vote on Kavanaugh's nomination no matter what happens on Thursday. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
President Trump used his annual address to the United Nations to attack Iran's, quote, corrupt dictatorship and lay down a defiant message that he will reject globalism and protect American interests. Much of his 35-minute address was aimed squarely at Iran. After the speech, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani accused President Donald Trump's administration of economic terrorism and having a plan for overthrowing the government in Tehran. Trump was asked by reporters as he entered the UN if he was considering firing Rosenstein. President Trump says he will be meeting with his Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein on Thursday. Trump wouldn't address Rosenstein's long-term future. Rosenstein was expected to be fired yesterday when he met with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, but Rosenstein and Trump spoke by phone later and decided to meet in person on Thursday. Florence's damages is still hitting the Carolinas. That story's still ahead.
And don't put away your rain gear just yet. When we will finally see an end to all this rain, coming up next on Newswatch. But first, here's a look at your stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TVs play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS. We're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Hurricane Florence is long gone, but the disaster continues. Historic flooding is still on the way for some low-lying areas. John Lorennick reports.
More than a week has passed since Hurricane Florence struck the East Coast, and for some, the worst is yet to come. Georgetown County, South Carolina, is likely to see floodwaters at least 10 feet deep this week.
We are expected to see peak levels of water levels here in the late hours of Wednesday evening and into early morning hours of Thursday, the 27th.
The area missed the worst of Hurricane Florence. However, it's located at the mouths of 3 rivers. Thousands have already been urged to evacuate.
We are prepared to open additional shelters should the need arise.
Portable dams are set up along Highway 17 in Georgetown, and schools are closed until further notice. Some of the rainwater causing problems for South Carolina has been flowing downriver from North Carolina. There has been some good news in the Tar Heel State. Interstate 95 is once again open to all traffic.
Getting those critical arteries open again is key to our recovery.
But despite that, many are still facing major obstacles.
We're far from normal. It's going to be several months, if not a year, till we see any normal life to some people.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. It was quite the rainy one today in Athens. Hopefully you were able to stay dry because it seemed like it would just not stop. Scattered storms pretty much throughout the day today. 73 degrees right now, and we still have that chance of scattered storms remaining, but mostly cloudy right now. Calm winds about 5 miles per hour around the region. We're seeing temperatures in the lower and mid 70s, 73 in Athens, 75 over in Columbus, and 73 in Newark, 74 down in Ironton. And as we look at our almanac for today, high of 76 and a low of 68. And as we look at this average, not much different from the average high, but our average low were substantially higher. 49 is the average for today for the low. In our records, 90 degrees in 2010 and in 1983, record low of 25 degrees. I'm glad we don't have that. Not ready for that type of cold just yet. And as we look at tonight, our chances of storms are going to increase throughout the night tonight. We're at about 55% chance at 10 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock it's going to increase to 70% chance of thunderstorms and 75% at 4 a.m. So those chances of rain are going to continue into early tomorrow, and we're not going to see much different in the temperatures here, but we will see some more rain. We're not done with it just yet. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a wet start to your Wednesday morning. 80% chance of storms around 8 or 9 a.m., 69 degrees, and it's going to be very humid. Make sure your kids have got their umbrellas if they're heading off to school, and make sure you bring your rain jacket with you. You're going to need it. You can't ditch it just yet. As we look at the storms that are kind of affecting this area for today and tomorrow, this is what this low pressure system is just moving through the area along with this cold front. As you can see, it just moves through tomorrow and it's kind of lingering, hanging out there for a little bit. So we're going to see some more rain tomorrow before we finally get to see some things clear up. As we look at your day tomorrow, finally when we can see a break from this rain, when you're heading home from work tomorrow around 4 o'clock, it'll be 69 degrees, and that's when you can finally expect this rain to sort of clear out of the area, be mostly cloudy. Now it will be overcast into Thursday. However, we will start to see the end of these rain chances after tomorrow evening. And look at this weekend we've got here, sunshine, and it's looking pretty nice. The high's in the lower 70s, so that's going to feel like a great fall weekend. Get outside, go to a pumpkin farm, go do something fun. And as we go into the early week, next week on Tuesday, we will see another chance of rain, unfortunately, but you do have a nice break from that this weekend. We'll get to see some sunshine, and we'll have some great looking temperatures this weekend.
Hey, thanks, Taylor. We'll continue the story of the recording of the record-breaking Spartans. That's still ahead, up on Newswatch.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall. Which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Over 2 weeks ago, we relived a phenomenal record-setting effort by Alexander's Eric Gabriel from 1999. Gridiron brand journalist Nate Buscella continues that story.
He didn't get the opportunity to play high school football, and I got the opportunity, so why pass it up?
All through Little League football, me and Mark played beside each other on the line, so we were very close. And then after his passing, his mother and father asked if I would continue to wear his number, 77, and I was just floored and honored.
That senior year, it kind of got amped up even more because it was Mark's senior year too.
Every practice, every weight room session, every game, I was, I guess, playing for him, and it was more letting his legacy live through me so his parents could see that number on that field.
Nate wearing 77 was, we all loved that. We wanted 77 on the field, and we all bought into that. And the way we ran our offense, I had the opportunity to score the most. And it gave me an opportunity to celebrate Mark for everyone else, because they didn't get to do that. They didn't get to run across the end zone. They'd come celebrate with me, but they all knew what I was doing. So I pointed to the sky every time I scored a touchdown that year. And we didn't tell anybody. I don't know that anybody ever knew that. Coach Holbert wouldn't tell you this, but the third touchdown at Belpre, I started pointing a little early. I think Coach Riz was running the sidelines with me when I went in the locker room. Coach Holbert was, dag nabbit, Eric. You can't celebrate that. That was about as upset as he got. He didn't really enjoy me celebrating before I got across the end zone. And I don't even know if he knew why I celebrated. I don't think I even told him why I did that.
The community did a beautiful tribute to Mark and had his mom and dad and his brother and sister down on the field, and we presented them with a game jersey, 77, and it was just, it was so much bigger than football.
We met at at his grave every Friday before every game, We always met, we didn't talk football, we just went up there and hung out like we were friends. And then we went and played football. And we thought about Mark the entire time.
The ninth game of the year, I had messed up one of my feet, and I was born with a degenerative foot disease. As you can see now, I'm an amputee. And the ninth game, I knew something was wrong. Something popped, and that 10th game, I shouldn't have been on the field. I basically played on one leg. Coach tried to take me out that 10th game of the season, and he tried to sub me, and I sent the sub off the field. And I found out later that evening that there was adults in the stands crying, you know, and it not in a negative way, but I think they were truly inspired. And that's nothing, it wasn't anything I was doing. It was more about the love for this guy and the other seniors that we had grown up from 6th grade, and the number that was on my shoulder pads. You know, I know Mark would have given anything to been there, and he was not going to get me off that field.
For me, it was the Athens game. Player or coach, it may be its top 5 in best sporting events I've ever been to or been a part of. The best part about that game that sticks out, I can't remember the yardage, 70, 80, 90, I don't know what it was. The last drive doesn't look good for us. We got to go the length of the field. And Nate says, Eric, I'm going to say something. I said, he looked at every person in the eye, said, if one of you have 1 inch of you believes we're not scoring a touchdown on this drive, take your butt to the sideline and send somebody else in. I don't think anybody winked, anybody blinked. And that moment, that game, just wrapped it all up. You know, from 6th grade with Mark to that point, seeing Nate step out and the 77s saying that.
Mark would have done that had I, had he been there.
I don't know if it got more special than those 4 weeks. Those 4 weeks did. Besides the traveling time when Mark was with us, when you got ice cream, win, lose, or draw, you know, those were even better. I would want to tell him that I hope we carried his memory the way he wanted it. I would hope that everything we did, it wasn't. You know, everything we did was so selfless, and I hope he was able to watch his parents enjoy some of that through us. I hope he was able to watch his siblings, his brother and sister. I hope he was able to watch his friends succeed, and he had a part of that. Whether he was here physically or not,
he was here.
I hope that
he was here.
I hope that he enjoyed it as much as we did. We think he did, and it seemed like he was there with us. You know,
he was there
every second.
Life isn't fair, but that is no reason not to go do something great and give yourself to other people and lift them up and make them better through whatever you're asked to walk through.
That was Nate Bucella reporting. Now let's head over to Taylor Nimmo for a final look at the weather. Taylor?
All right, let's take one final look at your weather for tomorrow. Heading out, make sure you bring your umbrella, your rain jacket. We will have some storms in the morning and into the afternoon tomorrow. Then we'll finally start to see the rain come to an end tomorrow evening. As you head home from work, you'll finally get to see some break from that rain. And on this weekend, we have a lot to look forward to. Some beautiful weather, sunshine, and temperatures reaching the lower 70s, so that's going to be very comfortable weather, not very humid either, so it's going to feel very nice this weekend. If you have any plans, you're good to go for that. Now into next week, Monday we should be partly cloudy. We shouldn't experience any rain on Monday. However, on Tuesday we will experience some chance of thunderstorms again into Tuesday. So just make sure that you keep that in mind next week. Now we do have a break from those storms for this weekend, so make sure you get out and enjoy that weather.
Thanks, Taylor. Everyone, I'm sure, is looking forward to that final weekend of really nice weather. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Alexander Moore. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can catch all of the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.